everyone, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Saginaw City Council. We will be led in the prayer and pledge by Councilmember Clint Bryant.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are thankful that you've assembled us here tonight to conduct the business of the city of Saginaw. I pray that you would be with every employee and every citizen. Father, just build up a hedge around our community. We say that we are building opportunity. Father, we ask that you would make that so. Preside over us tonight, and may you be the one who leads us in all of our discussion. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, for the roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Forbes.
Present.
Councilmember Bryant.
President.
Councilmember Bench is excused. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Present.
Councilmember Scherzer.
Present.
Councilmember Millen.
Present.
Councilmember Balls is absent. Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
We have 7 members present, 2 absent.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Because this is a public meeting, we ask that all members of the audience please remain quiet and refrain from speaking, interrupting, or otherwise disrupting the meeting. Also, I remind everyone to please silence all electronic devices. Good time to take a break and get your devices off. All right, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have some announcements. First of all, we have an agenda change. The city manager has removed the closed session consideration regarding the pending COLA of litigation and a strategy session of collective bargaining agreements. There will be no closed session.
Thank you.
And also, the city clerk's office has been pretty busy with the telephone today, people asking about election day tomorrow.
That's right.
The city of Saginaw does not have an election tomorrow. This is the odd year. Council changed the city election year to the evening. So this is the first year you're seeing that there is not an election during the odd year. Also, City Hall will be closed Monday, November 11th for the Veterans Day. And the City Waste Convenience Station is open to city residents the second Saturday of the month from 8 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon. And it's located at the Public Works Building if you use the entrance off of Holland Avenue. City residents may dispose of items such as building materials, recycling for cans, plastic containers, and paper. The next collection day will be this Saturday, November 9th. And the Mayor, we have a proclamation this evening. It's in recognition of the 90th anniversary of the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association.
And we would invite Cindy Schatz to the podium, please. And today, Councilman Bryant will be the person reading the proclamation.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Cinda, and all of the ladies of the Women's National Farm and Garden Branch of Saginaw. It's my privilege to read this proclamation to you. City of Saginaw Proclamation, whereas the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association is celebrating 90 years in the city of Saginaw. The Saginaw branch was established in 1929 with the purpose of stimulating interest in agriculture, horticulture, and to beautify our surroundings. And whereas planting of lilac bushes at the water treatment plant was the first project completed of the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association, enhancing the grounds of the Castle Museum, Saginaw Art Museum, Anderson Enrichment Center, the Saginaw Zoo are just a few of the other projects done within our community. And whereas the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association supports local libraries, nature centers, 4-H programs, student scholarships, beautification projects, thank you, and horticultural therapy programs in local hospitals, schools, and senior centers. And whereas throughout the 90 years of the association Saginaw branch has been here, the members have been known for their can-do spirit and swiftly rising to meet any need they found in the community. Now therefore be it resolved, Floyd Clark, the mayor of the city of Saginaw, on behalf of his fellow council members, does hereby pay tribute to the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association, and we extend this expression of our esteem and best wishes to the members of the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association for their positive impact in the city of Saginaw. A witness whereof the mayor is hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the city of Saginaw to be affixed this 4th day of November in the year of our Lord 2019. Signed by Floyd Clark, or Mayor. Councilpersons Brenda F. Moore, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael D. Balls, Annie Bench, Clint Bryant, John Milne, Jamie Forbes, Bill Ostash, Autumn L. Scherzer, and it's also signed from our city manager, Tim Morales. Thank you.
I get a second chance to congratulate
Thank you so much.
Are we gonna try this?
Let's do it. Yes. Hope so to come back, come back.
Ms. Shantz, Ms. Shantz, if you'd like, we'd love to have a few words from you.
The key is few. It is my pleasure to have accepted this proclamation on behalf of the 100 members of the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association, Inc. We remain dedicated to our mission and vision to promote local, state, national, and international concerns through agriculture and horticulture with philanthropic and hands-on initiatives by means of beautification, education, environmental concern, community service, and international concern. We approached the Riverfront Development Committee and Friends of Ojibwe Island last fall to get support for our 90th birthday project, Daffodils for Saginaw. They gave the go-ahead to begin planning and development. At this moment, we have raised funds to plant approximately 6,000 daffodil bulbs. We will return to the Riverfront Development Committee and Friends of Ojibwe Island to finalize our 2020 year plantings and locations. We will seek their approval and then present our proposal to City Council for your authorization. Then our branch will begin our fundraising initiative, inviting business, industry, philanthropic organization, at the educational communities, and individuals to join in our goal of planting a daffodil for each citizen in the greater Saginaw area. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. In 10 years, we plan to be here to celebrate our 100th birthday. And I thank you again for your recognition, and you can count on our commitment to Saginaw. It is now my pleasure to ask our current president, Stella Thalen, to stand, and the rest of our members and their spouses who don't get off the hook just because they're not members. Could you stand, ladies and gentlemen? Stella has a few seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Shantz.
Thank you again for this proclamation. We appreciate it very much. Wanted to bring a few things to your notice. On your desk is a bookmark that tells a little bit about our organization. I also wanted to mention that between now and the end of the year, you can view the permanent revolving display at the Casa Museum of some of our work from the past. And finally, on November 25th, we will be holding our 90th Greens sale at the Saginaw Country Club, where we sell a lot of different things and have a lot of vendors, and it makes a lovely day, and the Saginaw Club the Saginaw Country Club provides a wonderful lunch. Thank you again for letting us receive this proclamation.
Thank you so much. It's always an honor to recognize those who attempt to beautify our city. So thank you so much.
Mayor, your next order of business is public input.
All right. Welcome to all those who have signed up to address council tonight. Hearing from the citizens we represent is very important to us. We ask that you speak slowly and clearly so we don't miss what you have to say. If you'd like, this would be a good time, that's fine.
Okay.
You don't need to wait, and you don't need to hear the whole thing I have to say. Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, about me clearing the room. All right. We're back to continuing the information for the public input citizens. When called to the podium, let us know if you will be speaking solely for yourself or on behalf of a group. All speakers will have a 3-minute limit, which is timed by the clerk, so be sure to cover your main points first. We ask that your presentation be courteous and respectful to the members of the public present, to the citizens watching SGTV, and to the council, so we can give serious considerations to your concerns. All follow-ups will be referred to city staff. Thank you.
Our first speaker tonight is Liz Troublefield.
Ms. Troublefield?
See
Not
her.
here?
I do not see her. Next, we have Eric Carbon.
Welcome again, Mr. Carbon.
Thank you. I see it says here, clearly and slowly state your name and address. I think you've said that as well yourself to various speakers who come here to the podium. I very quickly want to point out that there is no such requirement in the council rules of order.
And you are correct. We did not say that in today's reading.
Fine. I'll go on to what I was going to say. At the city council meeting held on May 20th, 2019, the manager stated, I did forward council a memo about the intersection at Gratiot Avenue, Mackinac Street, and Michigan Avenue. It was not until about 2 weeks ago that I read this memo for the first time. At a future meeting, I would like to provide public input to council about the content of this memo. At this time, however, I only wish to ask a few questions about the manager's above statement. My first question is, who forwarded the memo? Did the manager actually forward the memo himself, or did someone else do it? Secondly, I find the manager's use of the word forward questionable. This word suggests that the manager originally received the memo from a source external to the manager's office, and that he then forwarded it to a destination external to the manager's office. If this suggestion is accurate, why didn't the manager say who sent him the memo or where the memo came from? The office of the city manager shares room 203 of City Hall with the mayor and city council. There is a sign outside room 203 to this effect. In stating, I did forward council, was the manager referring to an act whereby he or someone on his behalf moved the memo from one location in room 203 to another location in room 203? Thirdly, why did the manager report at the council meeting on May 20th, 2019 that he forwarded council a memo? If he forwarded the memo, why would he tell the council he had done so? Finally, why didn't the manager forward the memo to me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Salim Manan.
Mr. Manan? Welcome again.
Right. Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it. My name is Salim Manan, and I'm here today to speaking on behalf of the innocent children. And I want to first of all clear up something that I addressed when I was first here, and that something was that Dana Nessel, the Attorney General for the state of Michigan, I said that she didn't receive any public funds. I want to make it clear that she didn't receive any dark money, not public funds, but any dark money, and that's important. This country, when it was founded, it was impregnated by two opposing germs. One of the germs for human health and for society, the progressive life in all its good forms that all human beings like, and retaining the moral basis of life while advancing the total needs of society. But on the other side, there was a mercantile force or an aspiration that didn't yet see itself as big as it wanted to be. That germ that we call the colonial imperialism that made nations nothing but pray for the empire that sucked its economic and moral life out of it. Elements of that nature came to this country in the very beginning with the healthy-minded human beings, the humanitarian, the Christian-minded people, the pilgrims who came here and wanted to establish a nation that would respect all people, irregardless of their religion. But along with them were some people that came here to only make money. They were greedy. And now they have realized their growth. They have realized their power. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about the children. They only care about making money, and they don't care about how they go about doing it. You have to understand the time that we live in. When drugs was brought in, it was brought in for the poor people. Now we're seeing that our leaders are even involved with drugs now. The Bible speaks of this time, and the Bible states, it says, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowry. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. This is the scripture. Now what's important, the Quran, the Torah, and the gospel, they have the same agreement as with the scientific people in the medical industry. They all agree and they speak in one term. That's science and religious scripture. They put the category of marijuana and all the drugs in one category. If you look at the respected people in health, they will tell you that all of it, cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, all of it is in one category. And for lack of a better word, it's intoxicants, and it's designed to do the same thing. Those people at that level know that. The scripture agrees with science. What is the time that we're living in? Where are we now? That we will abandon human beings, and instead of progressing and advancing us, we want to do things that harm us. Employees cannot keep people because they have drugs in their system.
I have to cut you off.
You have to.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Mayor, your next order of business is the remarks of council.
Thank you. Today we begin, I want to remind council members of a 3-minute limit, and today we begin with Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the organization, the Saginaw branch of Women of National Farmers, for their 90 years of service. And I'd like to thank our public speakers. Thank you for your input. This week was an exciting week, even though it snowed on Halloween. The Neighborhood Watch Association, well, not neighborhood, but the Arson Watch was a success again. I was there both nights. I went out in the snow. It was fun. It was fun, but it was more fun seeing the kids throw snowballs at each other in the little snow. So that was fun. I also had the privilege of having some citizens attend the, I want to say James Street, the health fair at the Civic Center. It was really an inspiration. I hear more input about what's going on. I will be invited to other activities, and nothing personal. I want to take community people so that they can be exposed to the same thing I'm getting exposed to. So there will be some more invitations coming up shortly. I hope that others will want to come and join and eat lunch with me. Also, we are getting ready to do a whole lot of different things, I hope, in the city with lighting of the lights that is coming up real soon. So look out. Saginaw's on the move. We're doing a lot of great things. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bryant.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here in council chambers. We have, as Mayor Pro Tem Moore said, we've had a busy couple of weeks. Some really great events. We went to church, most of us together, the last couple of weeks. The first week was at Bethlehem Temple. It was a rocking service. And then we also had the privilege to attend First Baptist Church of Bridgeport with Pastor J.D. Hull, new pastor there. It was a phenomenal service as well. To piggyback on Councilwoman Moore, Arson Watch was fun. I did night 1. Night 2, I was not going in the snow. But I also want to give a shout out. Yesterday we had the Saginaw branch of the NAACP meeting, and Kana Franklin, and we had Rachel Trumbull. Kana works here with CDBG and all kinds of other grant programs and things that we have here. She did a great job. She did a really good job of breaking it down, understanding what it means to start a small business, and we could even understand some of the things that she was talking about. And she let the people know that it's an open line of dialogue with the city. I mean, nobody's, trying to say, no, don't start a business, and the red tape really can be, you may have to navigate it, but she really broke it down. So she did a good job, as well as Rachel Trumbull from the SVRC Marketplace. Had the opportunity to attend a couple of the trunk or treats, as well as Saturday we had a meeting. I was there in relation to my job, but one of the things that we talk about with economic development and growth in the city is the fact that some of our schools are struggling. And on Saturday it was a long meeting, it was from 8 to 4:30, but the superintendent called the meeting and he brought in almost 40 leaders from business, from health, from every cross-section that you can imagine, secondary education, from the chamber, from the Senate, and also in the House, and it was a really good meeting. It inspired me to hear something positive, that they're soliciting feedback. When we try to get people to live here, the first question they always ask is, how are the schools? I'm not on the school board, I don't want to be on the school board, but when we can lend them a hand, I think we should do so. And I know that one of the things I did want to bring up is, and I did email the mayor and the mayor pro tem, is about a shared calendar. This council has been more active, I think, in the last couple years than it has in a long time. And with that, you have to juggle a lot of things. I mean, everybody at this table I've seen at a community function every single week. Councilman Balls with the Eagle Scout presentation, thank you so much for attending. Councilman Milne, great to see you at church. NAACP, Councilman Ostash. You chaired the meeting, as well as our mayor. He's been to a lot of the things as Mayor Pro Tem. Great to see you at the Great Lakes Bay Health Centers. But in doing that, we do get busy. And we have to make sure that if we're gonna say that we're gonna go somewhere, we gotta be there. Especially when it comes to our schools, it's critical. So I'm just hoping maybe at the next meeting, we can talk about having a shared calendar for our mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. That way, if he cannot make it, she at least has knowledge of the event.
Okay, all set? Councilman Brandt, all done? All right.
You don't have to do
For
it.
Yes.
now. For now.
Councilmember Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see such a good crowd. I know they all kind of exited already, but a very worthy organization, definitely dedicated to the beautification of our city. If you've driven by the Lee Mansion lately, you've probably seen that a lot of progress has taken place. Lots of improvements, lots of paint, and it's just really a perfect example of how the historic preservation in Saginaw can take place and what's really possible. They have started a crowdsourcing campaign to partially fund their efforts. And if they secure $25,000, the Michigan Economic Development Corps will match it, bringing it to $50,000. These donations will allow a public welcome center on the main floor so that we all can use it for meetings or stop by to grab a Saginaw bumper sticker for our friend's birthday, that kind of little stuff. But I really think that this will serve as a jewel of downtown. And so I encourage you all to consider participating in this effort. They have 60 days to raise the money. The kickoff will be on Friday, November 8th, this coming Friday, at Oracle Brewery from 6 to 10. There'll be a DJ, and $1 from every pint will be donated to the effort. So you can always drop by your donation even if you can't stay. But also there's going to be a fundraiser put on by some of our most treasured Saginaw restaurants. It's called Mission for the Mansion, November 25th from 6 to 8. Delicious appetizers will be available at a group of restaurants in Old Town for $50 per ticket, with the funds going to the Lee Mansion restoration. The restaurants and businesses donating to this effort include Basong's, Liquid Lounge, Oracle Brewery, Ginger Blue Gallery, Fralia's, The Bread Guy, and Artisan Bistro. And this is the kind of thing that happens all the time with that group. They are so generous to their community, and so not only going to this particular fundraiser, but try out those restaurants because they're awesome. You can also check out the Lee Mansion Restoration page on Facebook to keep up with the effort and to make a donation online. And just to piggyback on what Mayor Pro Tem Moore mentioned, I was at the Great Lakes Bay Health Center's luncheon too, because I just think that they're an incredible organization in a region who serves so many people. And they are quick movers, and they're just a great organization. So I was excited to introduce a few of my friends to their efforts, but also if you've never heard of it, I encourage you to just quick Google it, because they are doing such amazing work in this community. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what their next moves are. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Oshkosh.
Good evening, welcome everybody, and just want to say, like what Jamie was just talking about, it's good to see so many people here in the crowd tonight, and for everybody that's watching from home. And once again, thanks for our speakers, we listen, and it's nice that you take the time to come out and talk to us and tell us what's on your mind. I'm going to share something real quick. I had an opportunity, and I do this every year. Saginaw has a Hall of Fame, and we attend the dinner, and just to share real quick, some of the people that were inducted, and this is people that have been, they've passed on, but they've contributed greatly to the city of Saginaw and the success, or just things that they gave back to the city or did. But anyways, Arthur C. Newman was inducted this year, Peters Upperman, and also Jack Tuckner. So I just want to give a little shout out to the families here, and it was an excellent event. Another thing, I also attended the Arson Watch this year. It was a lot of fun. Just traveling to the different locations, looking wherever we could help out. And so a really great success, and just want to make note that it was our 5th year with no fires that I saw last reported. Another thing I want to talk about too that's coming up is it's been kind of mentioned that the holidays in the heart of the city. This is a great event. Every year we do it. Actually, I'll be out and about again in Old Town. We dress up in Victorian, and you can see us walking the streets. There's a group of us that normally start out at 6 o'clock at Jake's. So if you'd like to join us, please do. But also there's going to be just a list of some of the things that are going to be going on during that event for the next couple of days. That when it's being held is free horse-drawn carriage rides. There's going to be a cookie house. There's going to be the downtown farmers market. They're also going to have free transportation over the Court Street Bridge, and that's going to be supported. They're also going to have free holiday concerts, but they're saying any of the concerts that you do come to, they are looking for donations of new hats and mittens and scarves, and so you could bring that there and drop those off. Again, there's going to be Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, which is always kind of one of my favorite events, especially if the reindeer are there. And then moving into Saturday is going to be the parade. The parade is going to, actually want to go back to the lighting ceremony starts at 5:45 p.m. and that'll be at the Water Treatment Center where they'll turn the lights on. And then at 8:30, there's going to be a big fireworks display from Ojibwe Island. Now talking about Saturday, moving into the Christmas parade, which is going to be November 23rd, and that'll start at 11 a.m. This year, Master of Ceremonies, again, is going to be WNAM TV5. The parade will be filled with your city council members. We're going to be on a float. I want to thank Councilwoman Scherzer. She's organizing everything this year for us. And any more information on that, you can just get a hold of the Positive Results of Downtown Saginaw. And they do have a phone number, 989-753-9168.
Pretty darn good timing there.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilmember
Mayor.
Bowles, yes.
Hey, I would just like to let everybody take a look at this magazine here. I don't know if you guys have a copy. But we all got a copy here, and I just wanted to mention that if service is the rent that we pay to live here on God's earth, then Brendan, I'm gonna give you 2 lifetimes here on earth for all the service that you do in the city of Saginaw.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. And to the rest of the council people too. I had an opportunity to spend some time with the Big Brothers and Sisters program, had a fundraiser in the city of Saginaw, and I happened to see my fellow council person down there with her supposed to be little sister, but I must admit she was standing a foot taller than she was. And she had a little brother in that program who I come to find out that a coworker of mine, a guy I used to work with 15 years ago, said he got involved in the Big Brothers and Sisters program because he know if I could do it, he could do it. And he stands 6'3", and his little brother was 6'5". And that was Autumn's, I'm sorry, Autumn, but Miss Scherzer's, excuse me. We're trying to get Autumn in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. Right, Jane? So that's our next step. But her little sister's brother stands much taller than his big brother, so it was really awesome to see them all there at that fundraiser. The people in Midland are the ones that run the Big Brothers and Sisters office now, and they came down. They were really surprised about all the money that we raised here in the city of Saginaw. I think we raised well over $20,000, which was really something for this area to get. And we're looking forward to doing it again next year. Anybody here that would like to donate to a worthy cause to helping kids stay out of trouble and grow up to be productive members of society, please get involved in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. Other than that, I don't have too much more to share. No more than I did attend the Eagle Scout presentation at Ames Methodist Church this Saturday, and it was really a nice affair. Those guys have really got their stuff together, and I must admit that those guys spend a lot of time with those young kids in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. They can camp them, and with all the Eagle badges that they earn, I mean, these guys do a lot of different things in the community to make them grow up to be productive members of society as kids. And it's really good to see that. So other than that, that's all my comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Milne.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. I wanted to start with a couple of notes about things going on downtown, one of our favorite focuses on our development. An example of how fast things are moving down there now, we had an employer that left because they merged with another company, Absolute Building Maintenance. The building has been empty just about 3 months, and Saginaw Valley State University is going to move into it and create a community outreach center. This puts both our colleges and universities in the downtown area, and I think Central Michigan will be following in the not-too-distant future to have a presence here besides the medical school. So that is a big plus for downtown. Something else downtown, at our fire station #1, we have new signage. Wanted to give a shout out to the fire department. That looks very lovely. And I'm hopeful that extends to the other stations in the near future. Very positive sign. For the citizens at large, let's remove our leaves from the gutters in front of our houses. We have an extended cold snap coming, and if they end up freezing in place, that affects public works and snow removal the rest of the winter. So now is the time to get them up onto your grass, get them into your leaf bags and barrels. We have extended our time to pick up yard waste so that we can accommodate that. And another mention for Public Works, it's about the end of construction season. I hope everyone has noticed the great progress we've made with streets and the city this year, and next year is going to be a continuation of that. They're going to be switching over to their snow removal mode here pretty quick. I want to mention one other thing about, where did I lose my note? Oh, Monday, November 11th, Veterans Day. City Hall is closed, but there's a Veterans Memorial down at the Vets Plaza in Hoyt Park, starts at 11 a.m. And that is always a very moving event. I invite everyone who can to come. It's going to be chilly, but it is worth coming down to. So please join with us on the 11th down at Hoyt Park. And that's my comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Schuster.
Thank you. So I want to say first, thank you to everyone here in the audience, those watching at home, and those who came for public comments. We truly appreciate your input, and we welcome and hope to have more individuals come to speak to us. Again, congratulations to the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association on your 90th year. We truly appreciate what you're contributing to the city of Saginaw and to the Saginaw community. It has been very busy for the last few weeks. We co-hosted the NAACP meeting yesterday. Well, I'm sorry, not we. My sorority, the Zeta Phi Beta, we co-hosted, and it was great to have the city involved and also the new information coming from the marketplace. And with that, I want to welcome El Farolito to the city of Saginaw and to the marketplace. If you have not had them, please go check them out. They have great food, and they had a great grand opening this past weekend actually. I too participated in Arson Watch on the 31st, and it was so funny because my light was iced over when I got back. But one of the greatest things about Arson Watch is I got to witness our Saginaw Fire Department Station 4 and our chief deliver a prize and a shopping spree for being home after 9 o'clock, and I'm probably missing some details, but if you want more information on what they actually did, talk to our fire chief. But that was just awesome to see a kid at one of our local high schools get the engine and the lights and everything show up. So that was an awesome experience on that night. Holiday in the Heart of the Cities, Councilman Ostash pretty much covered everything, but I do have an envelope here for council members that I will take your money to purchase some items and some candy for the float, and then also if you have not, let me know if you're gonna be on the float. And then lastly, Heart of the City, the Michigan Banner's 17th anniversary is this Friday, where our mayor will be speaking, giving comments and a nice warm welcome on behalf of the city. That is this Friday. Their awards is Empowering Beyond the Classroom, and they are honoring some very deserving individuals. So it's this Friday, November 8th at 11 a.m. at Horizons. That's all I have.
Thank you. Well, I think it's, to me, many things that I would have covered have been covered, so I won't repeat. So thank you, council members, for covering all those items. I do agree, Councilmember Bryant, and Manager, perhaps we could discuss the idea of a shared calendar, see if that would be feasible. I know every member of council try and attend as many of these events as possible. Mayor Pro Tem does a ton, and with her new duties as the president of the MML, it's even harder, but she does a lot too. So I thank all of you for your efforts and ask you to continue. The Lee Mansion, I see it becoming the front door to downtown. It is quite a unique venue for a lot of things that will be a unique venue. So it's going to be a really wonderful. So thank you, Councilmember Forbes, for mentioning that, and I would invite everyone to participate. I do want to mention also, many of you by now have seen the Riverfront Saginaw signs. In the last few weeks, they've been working to light those signs. So hopefully in the very near future, we will have those signs lit up at night, not just visible during the day. So it is a welcome. Those signs are a welcome to our entire riverfront area, all the way from Old Town to Celebration Square, all the way to the hospitals in downtown. It is a unique opportunity we all have to recognize the many activities, the many venues that people come to in the riverfront, and for us to take advantage of the riverfront as an attraction throughout the region. So the Riverfront Saginaw effort has been really wonderful, and now seeing the signs lighted will contribute more to that. I think that it will be all I have to cover. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Great. Next on the agenda is reports from the manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Definitely, I'll have to talk to the Technical Services Director to see what he thinks about setting up a calendar like that. If it's possible, we can definitely do that. I also wanted to mention, if council members hadn't seen, the University of Michigan Dearborn iLab's eCities research recognized Saginaw for supporting local business in the community. Saginaw is one of 5 communities from across the state to have been identified for strategies that we employ to foster entrepreneurial growth and economic development. And this is the second time in 3 years that Saginaw has received this honor. And I believe this year there was a focus on talent attraction and development. And that is, 2 years ago we got this award as well. Cassie Miller from Saginaw Future does complete the application for us and answers their questions if they have any. So congratulations, Yolanda Jones and Darren Jerome and Cassie Miller did represent the city at the presentation of that in Dearborn. With that economic development information, I know some council members did go to a ribbon cutting at Umbra some time ago, and I know they communicated some of their plans or potential plans. A few of you communicated that back to me, and I just wanted to let everyone know that we did meet with them, and that Joanne Crary and Tom Miller from Saginaw Future have been working with them, I think, since they purchased that company. We had a meeting with Paul Reich attended, as well as Phil Carwatt and Brian Baldwin, I and Joanne as well, to see what they needed from the city and potentially help them. Very impressed with the city staff that attended, and they clearly had done a lot of research prior to the meeting, so I think we're in good hands there. We're also meeting tomorrow regarding a draft of our audit, and I think that is one of the soonest turnarounds we've had from the audit that I can remember. So it's great work by Finance Director Lori Brown and the team that works on providing the information to our auditors. So we should have that presentation at a council meeting probably in December or January. And Police Department also did announce in their November newsletter, the Officer of the Month is Officer Northrup, and the civilian of the quarter is Rayshon Jackson. And I noted in the description of both that they were both recognized of having a positive attitude and a positive approach when dealing with the public. So that's great to see from our police department. Riverfront Saginaw, the mayor mentioned the signs. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Riverfront Saginaw Facebook page, please do that, and also follow that. The organization does have someone who is writing content for the webpage, so if you can share that. It's really interesting stories, I think, done very well, and he's been focusing on some businesses in the Riverfront Saginaw area in Old Town and Downtown. So it's another positive from that organization. And finally, we do have a presentation this evening from Annie Rummel, who is the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Ann Doyle, who's the lead travel tech. And they have been working on this project for quite some time, and I think this is another potential front door for downtown. So with that, I'd ask Annie and Ann to come up and give the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager and Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and all council members. We appreciate the opportunity to come before you this evening and share details about a project that we've been working on for about 2 years now, called the Henry Marsh Bridge Cement Sky Project. We like to give our project code names until they're public, but you'll understand why we chose that particular name in just a moment. We're here this evening to share the details regarding this project, to explain how the project will be funded, including ongoing maintenance funding, to request your approval of the project so that we might move forward with the Michigan Department of Transportation. So first I want to address what is tourism economic development. You've heard about Saginaw Future, who does a phenomenal job working with the city of Saginaw, retaining, expanding businesses that are located here, workforce development, and trying to attract manufacturing to this area. What we work on as your Convention and Visitors Bureau is called Tourism Economic Development. So as part of economic development strategies, you have the quality of life that includes everything about the community. So when they're trying to attract someone in, you're talking about the community in general. We focus on the sense of place, which is a facet of the quality of life. This includes characteristics and perceptions that people have of a place. Tourism economic development is the effort put forth by the CVB to improve Saginaw's sense of place. According to Oxford Economics, statistical analysis covering more than 200 cities over the past 23 years shows that destinations with substantial and growing visitor economies tend to outperform their peers. And that's what we're here to try and do, is put Saginaw on the map for even further for additional visitation. So understanding this objective, your CVB has identified this one particular key project that will increase tourism to Saginaw and improve our sense of place. So why is tourism economic investment important? Well, we're all aware of Frankenmuth and that it possesses a strong tourism industry and serves as a wonderful example of how tourism can contribute to sense of place and quality of life within a city, our county, our region, and our state. However, the facets of Frankenmuth's tourism product did not manifest themselves overnight. Many of the attractions, festivals, and events were consciously added one attraction at a time, year over year, over a period of more than 60 years. And we're here today to tell you we're taking that same step on behalf of the city with your blessing. We'll be taking that step on behalf of the city of Saginaw with one additional attraction and reason for people to come here and visit.
Okay, I'm sure all of you know about the Huntington Event Park, but what you might not know is that was our first economic development project here in Saginaw. Back when, if you remember back when the hotel was there and the International Center, you saw blighted properties, there was crime infested, and we worked with others in order to tear that down and build it back up as the Huntington Event Park. So that was our first project that was substantially improved the area, Saginaw, and lowering crime. Our second project was the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex, and back in 2012, we were able to bring in a huge soccer tournament. They had multiple states. It brought in over $12 million, and what did we do? We helped to expand the soccer complex to accommodate this tournament in order to win it. And then we also put together a housing program. We paid to have this program written so that that tournament and all future tournaments could go right to this housing program to book their rooms for the tournament. We're still using that housing program for many other tournaments that have come in since then. The best part about that tournament was we got it back this last summer, and we brought in at least another $12 million, and the tournament was expanded by 2 additional days, so it went from 5 to 7 days. And we are putting a bid in to bring it back again. So hopefully we'll have that back into Saginaw again, and that is money that improves not just Saginaw County, but also Midland and Bay County, because we are one region. But the tournament is held in Saginaw County, so we get the biggest spend out of that tournament.
Okay, as you see on the map in front of you, Saginaw Future, the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce, and the CVB work together with organizations such as the Saginaw DDA, Riverfront Development, and Riverfront Saginaw, creating an enhanced plan for the area that we cover. So we worked more than 10 years with MDOT to re-engineer the exit ramps off I-675, providing convenient access to downtown Saginaw. The majority of our visitors to the city center use exit 2, shown here, to access downtown, and then they turn left on Washington Avenue. And this is what they're currently greeted with. Whoops, go back. Literally, this is our front door, this is our welcome mat. And it establishes a negative sense of place. And I ask, is this really the first impression that we want our visitors to see when, if you go one more slide, we can show them Saginaw's greatness? And so this effort is going to be our effort to try and give us a brand new front door and give people a great positive impression of the downtown area as they pull off I-75.
So we want to transform, like Annie said, we want to transform our front door into something that we can be proud of. And what better greeter could we possibly have to Saginaw than Henry Marsh? Henry Marsh is Mr. Saginaw himself. Both of us knew him. We both think very highly of him. The bridge that sits down by our office and by the Dow is called the Henry Marsh Bridge. And so what we want to do is put a mural up on the wall. Those are not the pictures we would be using of Henry, but we want to put the mural up of his life, and we want to honor him as a father, as a husband, as a grandfather, as an attorney, as a mayor, as a civic servant. The man was amazing, and so we think we can do him justice by painting a mural that is done by an artist that depicts this life. In addition to that, we want to build up underneath the overpass. There's approximately 2 acres under that overpass. We want to make it so that it's handicap accessible. We want to put LED lights underneath the top of the bridge coming down. Those LED lights will be able to change colors depending on what events might take place under there. We're going to have an area for fishing. We're going to promote kids fishing, and we're going to try to bring in more tournaments, more ice fishing. We're going to tie the paths into the county trails. We've been working with the county Parks and Rec to see how we might do that and create a hub. We're also going to have an area that will be for people to sit around and sit at seats where they can play games, whether it's chess or checkers. Areas for entertainment. This entertainment will see in a little bit all the possibilities. So as you can see, we have a lot of ideas, and if I can turn the page, there we go. This area will support a vast array of activities from sports to arts and cultural events. People are excited and they're enthused about the potential of this urban park that we can bring to Saginaw. And we've been gathering letters of support and have more coming in. It's really exciting to see who we're getting them from.
So as you've seen by this brief introduction to the project, where this is being presented by the Saginaw County Convention and Visitors Bureau, who has we have a proven track record of economic development, tourism economic development projects that are sustainable within Saginaw County, as well as already within the city of Saginaw. We have broad-based support from both private and public sector organizations. This project is measurable. We will be able to tell how many people enjoy the area and did it accomplish the objectives that have been set forth for it to accomplish. And we have a detailed plan for success and sustainability. It cleans up an underutilized and poorly kept front door or gateway entrance to the heart of the city of Saginaw. It serves to link the newly renovated Saginaw County Convention and Visitors Bureau Information Center at 515 North Washington Avenue to the entertainment district that is the heart of Saginaw. It relinks the city that was split by an interstate. It further improves safety within the city of Saginaw, provides a leisure space for residents and visitors to enjoy, and transforms this area into a walkable segment of the community. And some of the fund uses will be shown up here on the screen. So as you're watching these types of events that are occurring, I would be happy to address questions if that's appropriate. Otherwise, that's the summary of our presentation, and we appreciate the time you've provided.
Thank you. Council members, any questions or comments? Yeah, here we go. Councilmember Balls.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Appreciate it very much. Always good to see people working for the city of Saginaw, trying to make it look better for everybody. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure, and it's our honor to be able to do this. If you have any input, especially with the mural, we want to make sure that we really honor the memory of Henry Marsh and work with his wife to make this an area that he would be proud of.
Yes, looking at your plan, do you have a designated area that would be parking that would be accessible to this?
Actually, there is the parking area on both sides of this location. There's the paid parking. Both of the parking areas are privately owned parking areas. But right now, if you look at entertainment opportunities happening at the Dow or the Saginaw Club or the Temple Theater, people are hesitant to park in the 515 North Washington parking lot because they don't want to walk under that overpass because it is very dark and foreboding. So what we'd like to do is lighten that area up, and actually it's going to solve a problem for MDOT because legally you're not supposed to drive under there, yet some people are doing it. So it'll help prevent that illegal activity from happening. And there is a city street immediately adjacent to that. So although commerce or selling of products can't take place immediately under that overpass, if you have let's say if you have an arts fair and you do want to sell something to a vendor, all you have to do is step out from under the overpass into the city right of way and you can make that exchange. We also will have the ability to pull food trucks in there. So if we wanted to have a food truck festival in the downtown area prior to or immediately following a big activity somewhere in the downtown area, that would be very possible at this location.
Not to mention lunches.
Yeah.
We have to eat too.
Okay. Councilmember Scherzer.
How is this going to be funded? Is it strictly through MDOT or is
No, actually, MDOT will not be funding this. The Saginaw County Convention and Visitors Bureau, because we keep our overhead so low, we have dollars that we set aside specifically for these kinds of projects, and we've saved up our pennies, and then we're going to, with your approval and with the approval of the Saginaw County Board of Commissioners, we are in partnership with, currently we have commitments from the Dow Chemical Company and Consumers Energy to work with us, but the actual dollars will be coming out of the Saginaw County Convention and Visitors Bureau to be invested in this project. For the Huntington Event Park, we acquired both the Crown Plaza Hotel and the International Center and invested $1.2 million into acquisition and raising of those buildings. So a major project like this is not foreign to us.
And what is the
At this point, we don't have an exact budget yet because we're still working, we're working on donations and we're also working on grants. And we are just getting the engineering drawings for laying the asphalt down. It's almost a 2-acre parcel. So if you can imagine what a 2-acre parking lot would cost, that's kind of what we're looking at, but we want it to be a little nicer than a parking lot.
Well, but it's an investment in our city, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm excited to see this.
Thank you.
Councilmember Forbes.
This is a really exciting project for many reasons. And as you know, I'm a part of the Great Mural Project, which has done a couple projects. If ever we can be of service, please.
I already have your business card, and you are right there. So as soon as I get
for
through
my
the
fellow organizers that it would be fun to work on. And,
Yes.
and I'm very inspired by Henry Marsh also. So that would
All
be a
right.
particular pleasure.
The other nice thing is there's a lot of support posts there. So we're going to be looking at ways for really lighting those up and giving that area a personality. Our hope is that we'll be able to install lighting that can change. If it's St. Patrick's Day, it's green. If it's Valentine's Day, it's red. If there's a wedding underneath there and they want purple or pink or whatever, we want to be able to make that area just transform by lighting it.
Cool.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Once again, thank you so much for all that you do. Just some couple of questions. Phases. First phase is the mural, then all of the other.
The most important thing will be the mural, because we first and foremost want to honor former Mayor Marsh. But I don't think it'll have to be phased based on how we've laid it out. We think that with the approval of this group and having a sustained maintenance fund, that we'll be able to place this, hopefully, our goal is hopefully having it completed by next year.
That's what I wanted to hear.
All right. And I want you to know, we've met with residences in the neighborhood. We've met with our church across the way. We just did that. And, they were so excited. But we've gotten letters of support from small to the largest organizations, and people are really excited about funding this. And then Groups like the Dow Chemical Company and Consumers Energy have their sustainable volunteer group, and they've already said that once this is complete, this will be on their list of projects to help maintain.
Councilman Mills next.
Just a question as this project goes forward, since it involves both our public property and MDOT property, we've had similar projects in the past. This will be coming back to us for some of the actual contracts for work.
I will let Tim address that.
Yeah, so it doesn't involve our property, that's all MDOT property under there, but I believe what MDOT will need is, a local partner that manages it, so we'll have to look at that agreement, you know, whatever MDOT would approve of. So probably Phil Carwatt and Beth London will be working on that. I'll tell you also that, we met quite a while ago, Phil and I can't remember if anyone else from Public Services did, but we met with Annie and her staff and Spicer. So Phil is aware of the materials there and potential materials, and I think Spicer is open to his input on that as well, because we would be responsible for the perpetual care of it.
And our intention is to set aside a maintenance fund that'll generate enough interest to ensure that the cost of maintaining that area is covered.
Thank you. Councilman Wells?
Beautiful. Again, I visited Milwaukee before, and they have a festival in July, and they right beside the river, along the side of the highway. They got like 10, 11 stages, and they have these huge concerts every ethnic holiday there. And maybe this be something maybe we can put all the way down the side of the highway. I don't know if you guys ever visited or seen it.
Yes, and in fact, this idea came, I was at a World Tourism Conference in New York, and I love New York, you know, they've got like a huge budget compared to us. They're showing off this multi-billion-dollar new improvement project of this big convention center, and I'm looking at the overpass over here, taking pictures of this little urban park, because it struck home. I said, we can do that right next to our building. So when I came back and told Ann about it, then she really got crazy with some ideas, and yep. And we found out that we thought this was just unique to that one location, but you see these throughout China and Japan and throughout the U.S. and as well as European cities where it's very crowded. Now, we aren't crowded yet, but we're working on that.
Well, if you guys get the opportunity, please take a look at that park in Milwaukee.
We absolutely will.
And don't forget, we have someone that's on the Michigan Municipal League.
Yes.
And they give funds for projects like that too.
Hater. Good hater.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll check that
Just to
out.
let you know that.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else with questions? Questions, comments?
Fabulous.
This is really wonderful. Actually, I have a picture I want to show you of an underpass that I took just a few weeks back. in
Wonderful.
Detroit. It was a simple but a unique design. So
Yes.
if I get a chance, I'd like to show you that.
Well, thank you all very much.
This is very, very nice.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager?
That concludes the management update.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next order of business is the consent agenda.
The consent agenda has been available at City Hall, on the city website, and on SGTV Channel 191. I would be asking for exceptions to be noted by the clerk to any item on the consent agenda. Any exceptions? Any exceptions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's carried. Then, next, Madam Clerk.
We are now at Boards, Commission, Committee reports.
Are there any reports of city boards and commissions from a council member? Any boards, commission reports? Yes, Councilman Wells.
I was on the Saginaw Promise thing, and I haven't maybe attended meetings, and they do have a big night coming up on the 6th. Maggie Johnson coming to town and spent on raising a lot of money for Saginaw kids for the Promise Zone. And I was wondering, is it too late for us to get a proclamation to give to him? I will be there, and I was wondering if we can get one.
We already have that done.
Okay, is anybody else going?
I will be going.
Okay,
But I hope you could make it as well.
I will
Anybody?
be there too.
I'll be
Good.
there.
Very good. Okay,
I still got one I wanted to mention.
oh, I didn't see a hand
Oh,
over
it's
there.
okay. No, I was waiting until you guys were done.
Thank you.
No, I just wanted to note that my term on the planning commission has ended, and Mayor Pro Tem Moore has indicated interest in that. It's probably the most fun commission that I've been on. I was able to be appointed after Councilman Caloris passed away, and then I finished another term on there. But it is a great commission to sit on. I just took some notes. It was 32 projects that we overseen, redevelopment ready, the form-based code, and every year we work on the capital improvement plan. So it's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to having Mayor Pro Tem Moore there.
Okay, we need an application.
It's right there.
Our clerk will be awaiting for that. All right, any other reports? None. Then, Madam Clerk,
Our next order of business is ordinance consideration and adoption.
is there, I'm sorry, my
We do
apologies.
have one tonight. It's to add sections 116.041 through 116.045 of Chapter 116, Telecommunications of Title 11 Business Regulations.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, next.
Our final resolution tonight is to add sections 153.078 through section 153.082 of Chapter 153 Zoning Code of Title 15 Land Usage.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried.
We are now at resolutions. Our first one tonight is approving the annual apportionment of $6,894 for the Saginaw Area Stormwater Authority budget for fiscal year 2020.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk?
Our second resolution is to establish rates, charges, and fees associated with wireless communications equipment, support structures, and small cell wireless facilities and associated structures.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Remove.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried.
Mayor, you are now at miscellaneous business.
Okay,
First item there is consideration of a FOIA appeal, which was submitted by Billy Collins.
everyone has had a chance to review that. It was sent out by staff. Is there a motion that would be issued as a response to that appeal?
So move.
And what would the motion be?
Move to issue a written notice upholding the denial on the disclosure.
Okay, is that seconded?
Yes.
It has been seconded? Okay. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. Madam Clerk?
I will turn it back to you
Oh,
for any items.
yes, that's right, thank you. The, you all heard the Henry Marsh Bridge Cement Sky project. Is there a motion to approve, to authorize the city manager to proceed with that project?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is carried. Madam Clerk? I will, yes, I will go ahead. This was brought up at our last council meeting. We will need to continue until we resolve whether or not to have a ballot proposal to renew the Public Safety Special Assessment District to levy up to 7.5 mils. Is there any discussion or a motion regarding this topic?
Motion to approve.
Okay, to approve as, at 7.5 mils?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any second to that motion?
Support.
It's been seconded. Councilmember Schuster. Any discussion? Hearing any discussion? Councilmember Mill.
This is to approve the creation of the district and the levy. Are we going to have a separate discussion on when to place it on the ballot?
I believe the district's already been created, and this is simply a renewal of that ballot proposal that was previously approved.
Okay, well, that part notwithstanding, is it separate to decide when we want to place it on the
Yes, I
ballot?
would think, yes.
Okay.
We will proceed to that. Unless the mover would add a date, but I don't think that's been done at this point.
I don't
Down here.
Mayor.
Councilmember Forbes?
So if we're only talking about whether or not to renew, then the thing really at play here is whether or not we think it should be renewed or increased. Is that correct?
Well, the motion was to levy up to the 7.5 mil.
So we're at 7.5 anyway,
Yes.
so there's no, okay.
No
Well, then-
increase.
Yeah, well then, of course.
Okay, now, any further discussion on the motion as presented? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's carried. We do need to address the timing of the millage, so is there any discussion on the date for the millage?
March,
In March?
I'm sorry.
March,
Is that a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward in March,
at the March ballot.
March ballot.
Okay. Is there a second?
Support.
All right, it's been supported. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Milne?
Would the form of this motion be to direct the manager and staff, specifically the clerk and attorney, to place it?
Well, they will need to prepare the ballot language.
And we would need to bring a formal resolution back to
That's how it
council
would return to us. so.
to actually approve the levy
And the language, I assume.
Correct.
yes. Okay. Councilmember Ford?
So I believe that this would be the 4th or 5th millage on the ballot for March 10th.
About the fifth.
At least the 5th. So we're looking at MSU Extension, which is a new, Parks and Rec, which is a renewal, the Dow Event Center, which is a doubling, I believe, an increase, Stars, which is an increase. Is anyone else aware of anything else that will be on the ballot?
Councilmember Moore?
I'm not aware of anything else, but keep in mind, the millage, this one is up. It will be up, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
The end of the year, I think.
At the end of the year, we can,
2020.
20,
is when it expires.
December 20,
Yes,
so we're early.
yes.
but you want to do a renewal
Want to do it before it
prior to the
expires.
expiration.
That's what I thought.
So you lose a whole year.
Right, so if we waited till August, then we would have to rush everything in November, but if you add it all up, it's gonna come out to be the same thing. It's gotta be done.
If we were to fail on the March ballot, could we put it on either the
Yes.
August?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's the
And
reason.
there's some strategy also about turnout and some things like that that I think
Yes.
this the right time, in my opinion as well.
Okay. Any other comments or questions, discussion? The motion is to approve, or to go forward with the March millage, or March election period, and for staff to prepare the appropriate language. Any further discussion at all? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. All right, next, all of you should have received an email from me a while back explaining my desire to try and work a little closer with the county commissioners through some sort of a joint meeting. The county chairman and the controller and myself, Mr. Manager, and some staff met together about a week ago now, I believe it was. And the purpose of that was discuss how to make this happen. First of all, whether we wish to make it happen, to how to. And it was favorable. Everyone thought that it was a good thing to have the policy makers get together and discuss areas that either of concern or areas where we could work closer together. One of the things that was brought up was that administratively, we already do a lot of collaboration with the county. And so one of the discussion items was to ask that probably the very first thing we would want to cover at this meeting would be a report from the staff of both county and city of the things we collaborate on now, so that we can be informed, because I don't know if everyone here in council knows all those things. So it'd be helpful, I think, if we all are familiar with the kinds of things that are collaborated on now, that it gives us room to decide or to think about what we may want to collaborate on in the future. And it also hopefully will have the benefit of, as a group, as a group, council members and commissioners, of getting used to working together, so we don't have surprises in the future. Hopefully that will be the upshot of this, and hopefully we'll continue it in the future, at least once a year. And the plan is to do it by a committee of the whole, announced publicly as a committee of the whole. There'll be no, of course, committee of the whole, you don't have any motions, but it would be informative and for discussion amongst the various public policy makers here. It will require buy-in from council members and commissioners. Hopefully we will receive that. Is there any questions, comments, or discussion to be had on going forward with this proposal? Yes.
Oh, I just have so say that we have issues, specifically like right now. I think most of us at this table are probably advocating for the animal shelter to stay in the city. So I just think things could get a little contentious. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is potential, but the hope would be that it would actually be an opportunity to discuss.
If they build the animal shelter outside of the city, it's gonna be contentious.
Well, that may be, but that's a good time to say, this is why it is. So they may not participate, we don't know. The whole idea is to explore the possibility of a joint committee of the whole, and that might be a measure of their respect for us too. If they say no, well, then maybe we've got an idea of what they think of us.
I think we already know when they wanted to build it.
Well,
out in,
I would rather give them the chance to tell us.
we did, well, okay.
I don't have a problem with it because I work with most of them now anyways. Those that are gonna work with us are gonna work with us. Let me just say that. Those who are not, are not. Councilman Bryant is so right because they got the majority of the millages that's coming out. And so maybe y'all need to have another meeting letting them know that they need to make a decision on this animal shelter. Because we started, the city came and approached them and asked them why. And so we really haven't heard anything. So if y'all have heard something, then please let me know. Because right now, they've got millages that's going on the ballot, and they need and want them to be passed. But how can we pass that when you let us down on the first one?
Well, first of all, we don't know if they've let us down. No one that I'm aware of has given us an answer. We as a council made our position very clear to them that we want the animal shelter in the city. I don't think we could be too much more clear on that. They have to make a choice. They also, we did discuss at this meeting the fact that they have millages coming up. They are well aware that those millages are dependent on a city vote.
That's right.
So whether or not they cooperate is gonna be up to them. If they say no, like I said, then, we know where we are, and that may be the future.
And the trouble with that is that I hope that our citizens can differentiate between a county-wide millage and a city millage, because the city millages that we are gonna have on that ballot, we have got to have, and we all know this.
Absolutely. So it'd be beneficial to them to work with us all the way around. So it's up to. We will see.
So glad it wasn't up here.
Yeah.
So glad it wasn't up here.
Councilmember Mill.
Two things I wanted. One's a question, and one is something I think I'm on solid ground. Has there been discussion of possible venues for this? I know we had to do some staff work to find a venue for our marijuana meeting a couple months ago.
There was some discussion. I don't think it was resolved.
In the city.
No, I think we were at a point where we want to see, we want to get input from both.
Okay, well, in terms of support, yeah, I would love to see us do this. The other thing about the animal shelter project, and the city manager or Amy may know if I'm on solid ground here, my understanding is they have put out to sell the bonds for that. And
It's a good thing to ask.
my understanding is once you bond out like that, the clock starts ticking. You can't just sell the bonds and not do anything with the money. So they will have to come to a plan fairly soon on construction.
My understanding is they had a meeting last week. No one that I'm aware of has heard anything on if anything was resolved. Councilmember?
So potentially, how often would this gathering occur?
I would think once a year or thereabouts. I mean, it
That's all.
doesn't have to be. Yeah, we're not talking a regular. This is more informative and an opportunity to hopefully clear the air if it hasn't been cleared.
I think that, based on the collaborative tables that I have the opportunity to participate in, I think that if only information exchange occurs, it will put us all in a better place. And so I cannot imagine anything but positivity coming from this, building relationships, sharing information. I think it's a win-win for all around, and I would hope that the other bodies would welcome this opportunity as well.
Okay. Any other council members? Comments, discussion?
I'm just not happy with as far as the whole thing has gone. That's all I wanted to say.
I think all of us have our concerns about that, and I understand why you say that. Problem is, we don't have an answer.
Well, because they're delaying their feet until these people vote in March, and then they're gonna move it somewhere else again.
Well, there is that risk. The hope is that we have a meeting before that election, which would give us an opportunity to ask those questions.
I would hope it would take.
Yes.
Then I think we need to move forward, because, first of all, we say we want to be transparent. We want the citizens to know. We've got a millage that's coming up that we gotta pass. And just the thought of fighting or continuing to fight over this animal shelter don't look good. It does not look good. And that would mean that they would fail, but we would fail. And then that calls for layoffs, shortage, and we're back right to where we started. So I say, if you're gonna do the meeting, set it up, do, what is that we do? When you find out, get some dates, send them out to us, let's get this over with, let's hear what they got to say, because you already know, when we get in there, the question is gonna be, where the animal shelter going? The citizens want to know. So, let's go. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
All I need to know is if you're interested enough to do it. If we are, we'll say yes to them. They then have to decide if they're interested enough to do it as well.
I make a motion
call
that we
for the
move
question, sir?
forward.
Yeah, so there's no motion. Council, or Mayor Pro Tem was making the motion. Go ahead.
I make a motion that we move forward expeditiously with this meeting with the county commissioners.
Is there a second? Second first, or if there is a second.
Or
All right, it's been moved and supported. Discussion.
Will this be televised?
It's a public meeting. So it could
I would
be.
like it to be televised or available on the internet for people to see.
It'll be like any other public meeting. It should be.
The county does not have televised
We'll
meetings.
bring it here.
Well, if we
We'll
have-
bring
I
it
think
here.
that our citizens deserve the respect to see if their county commissioners are going another way.
That may well be a good idea. Very good. All right. But that's something that council, our staff will
I was just gonna ask.
work with, yeah.
I was gonna ask could the city manager look into us doing it in council chambers?
Or another venue where, I mean, the news reporters will be invited or will be available to
That's
come.
not, I want our citizens to be able to look at our meetings like they do. And if we're gonna have, this is a bit, I don't know if anybody's calling anybody else, but people are calling and asking, what is going on? Delta College costs $12 million, and we're gonna have a $12 million animal shelter. They're a little upset about the price, but if we're gonna have $12 million of development, that money needs to stay in the city.
We agree, but we don't have the choice.
I'm saying that, I'm just saying, I'm proving my point that it needs to be televised for all of our citizens who have access to watch.
I agree entirely.
Thank you.
And that's all we have to ask staff to make that arrangement. But we haven't had a motion approved yet. So until that happens, it's moot. Is there further discussion?
I'm good.
All right. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is carried. Then we would ask the manager to proceed to negotiate, arrange, whatever, assuming that they are willing to participate. All right. Is there any other business to conduct? Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm sorry, in my comments, I meant to personally thank the citizens of Saginaw for Truck or Treat that we had at Great Giant. For those that did not go, we had a ball. Next year, bigger and better, I'd like to do a shout out to Rocks and Locks. I hope I'm saying it right. And to Saginaw Tattoo. They came with costumes and buckets, pumpkins or whatever, goblins or whatever you call them, for the children, and they just loved them. Once again, I want to do a shout out, thanking everybody in the community that helped me with that venue, and look forward to a hat, glove, and sock drive coming up really, really soon. Thank you.
All right, any other unfinished, yes, Councilman Bell?
This is by way of information, not answering a question, but the use of the term forward is an evolution of our language now. The majority of our city council communication is electronic, and that is the method by which you disseminate something to a large group of people. You forward a message. So that is usually what we mean when we use that term.
Okay. I think, though, everyone understands what Mayor Pro Tem Moore meant with moving forward on this.
No, it was not
Oh,
concerning
another-
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, all right. So then, all right.
I just have,
Yes.
are we gonna receive an update on the, medical recreational marijuana ordinance?
Mr. Manager, any comment?
I was curious
Well,
about that too.
we're having probably gonna schedule a meeting, I think, the first week of December with the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilwoman Bench, and then the full presentation will be at the strategic planning session in January, which you just approved, so remember that's, the strategic planning session is the 24th of January, which is a Friday. So that longer meeting and presentation and discussion will be held at that.
And that is a reminder to those of you who are employed during the week. You may, hopefully you'll be able to attend, but that means you need to make your plans to attend on the Friday, the 20th.
On time.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're all there on time.
Anything else before we have Councilmember Oshkosh?
Now that Autumn brought it up, the committee on that, are you able to share who's on that committee, or how many people are developing
Well,
that?
from council, it's myself, Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilmember Bench.
Okay. And
These were added by the city manager?
Yeah, it's not a committee. The staff is doing the work on it right now.
Right.
We're just
Yep.
sharing that with council through this group, and those are the three to go to if you have questions about where we are in the process.
Okay. Anything else on, anything else, Mayor?
So let me say this. It's not as bad as everybody thinking. I see them faces.
What are you talking
The staff is working on it, and I think that they're doing a good job. Mayor can attest to it, and so can Ms. Bench, but if you got any questions, please ask me. Please ask me. I'll tell you where we are so far. Okay? So please ask.
Okay. Anything else? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Boy.
We'll vote if we have to. All in favor? Aye.